Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleshi. Welcome to Camnet TV Media News. The headlines. Justice Minister dares the PF to proceed with contempt proceedings. And the PF distances itself from financial irregularities in the auditor's report. Join me with the details after this commercial.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Do you know why you must monitor Constituency Development Fund CDF projects? To ensure CDF is not misused, misusing CDF will result in no clinics, no water, and inadequate infrastructure in schools. You can report CDF mismanagement to the Office of the Auditor General by simply dialing 5566, toll-free on MTN and Zamtel, and to the Anti-Corruption Commission on the toll-free line 5908. For more information, visit our website www.acazambia.org/CDF. Remember, CDF is your money. Take active part in how it is used and managed. This message is brought to you by the Alliance for Community Action.
And now the media news in detail. The state has asked the Lusaka High Court to dismiss the petition commenced by former Kabushi Member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo and his counterpart former Kwacha Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji as the relief the duo is seeking is not different from those sought before the Constitutional Court.
Arguments have continued before the Lusaka High Court in a case in which Mr. Bowman Lusambo and Joseph Malanji have petitioned the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Attorney General. In the latest submissions filed before court, the Attorney General has argued that the High Court has no jurisdiction to determine the petition brought forth by the duo on ground that the relief they sought are not different from those they had commenced before the Constitutional Court. This is in a matter in which former Kabushi Member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo and his counterpart, former Kwacha Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji, have petitioned the Electoral Commission of Zambia and wants the courts to order them hold fresh nominations for Kwacha and Kabushi constituencies whose elections are due on September 15th. Mr. Lusambo and Malanji wants the court to quash the decision by ECZ made on the 25th of August 2022, where the Commission rejected their nomination papers on the basis that they do not qualify to contest the election that was nullified by the Constitutional Court, citing Article 72(4) of the Constitution of Zambia Amended Act No. 2 of 2016. The duo have also argued in their petition that ECZ, through its returning office, has no powers to reject their nomination papers on the basis that their elections were nullified, stating that this action violates Article 72(2) of the Constitution. Responding to their submissions, the Attorney General has however argued this morning in its latest submission that the two have not even demonstrated that they are eligible, adding that Mr. Malanji did not demonstrate in the High Court and Constitutional Court that he had a grade 12 certificate result in the nullification of his election. The state has further submitted that the petition commenced by the two former members of Parliament is an abuse of the court process, hence should be dismissed, adding that Mr. Malanji and Lusambo will not be prejudiced if the stay is not granted, as they will be able to know their fate before the 15th of September 2022. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Justice Minister Mulambo Hayembe has ordered the Patriotic Front to go ahead with contempt proceedings for commenting on the matter pertaining to the eligibility of former Kwacha and Kabushi Member of Parliament Joseph Malanje and Bowman Lusambo.
Let's see the papers. Let's see the papers. It's up to them. Every individual is entitled to start a case. You can go to court and file anything you wish. The question is whether there is quality in that filing that has been done. The question is whether there is the case that you've commenced is frivolous and vexatious. So anybody can feel and say, I can go to court and file. Will that action be sustained? We'll wait and see. I cannot, of course, talk about the substance of the allegation. Suffice to say that it is a tried principle of law that once judgment has been delivered, in our practice in Zambia, you can make a scholarly, you can make a non-controversial and non-insulting comments regarding any piece of legislation. And you know, interestingly, the very lawyers of the applicants in that case, immediately the judgment was delivered, they gave their views. So how is one thing good for the goose and not good for the gander? Whereas they were given their interpretation and gave their views of what the import of that judgment is, they expect that others should not. What kind of living is that? That is the past way of doing things. Now we do things equitably.
Capital Buses company proprietor Ishmael Kankara has called on the police to arrest thugs behind the beating up of his drivers operating in the Kamwala South route. He says the matter has nothing to do with political cadres, but thugs trying to take the law into their hands.
The 8th of September 2022, people were treated to ugly scenes where flash buses drivers and some commuters were harassed by some bus operators and conductors believed to be competitors. And the person behind this video is equally nursing internal injuries after being beaten by the suspected perpetrators. However, Camnet TV understands that flash buses started operating the Kamwala South route as a result of a proposal by the people of that locality through Kawata constituency. Mainda Simatau requested that flash buses start operating in the area. Meanwhile, Capital Buses company proprietor Ishmael Kankara has called on the police to arrest the thugs behind the beating up of these drivers operating the Kamwala South route. He says the matter has nothing to do with politics, but thugs trying to take the law into their own hands.
If the other operators can provide a better service, fine with me. I mean, look, we can't operate everywhere. Lusaka is vast, it's big. We can't operate everywhere. Some places our buses are liked, some places they're not liked. But it's a free market economy. Let it flow. My appeal to other operators who were beating my drivers yesterday and who caused a lot of malicious damage, and as far as I'm concerned, they even used screwdrivers to attack our people. They should stop it, and I hope the police get to the bottom of it. My drivers have reported it to Kabata police, and let's hope that they find a solution. And there are some people who are making it political, but it's not political. Nothing is political about that. It's just transporters. A few drivers here are fighting the other drivers, and because they don't want this route to be serviced by certain operators.
And Mr. Kankara, who wanted to close down his business owing to the infiltration of political cadres in the transport sector before the August 12 general election, has told Camnet TV News that sanity has been restored under the United Party for National Development Administration.
The cancer which came about of these so-called thugs, not cadres, thugs, that cancer I thought will never end. But kudos to His Excellency the President. He has taken a tough stance on law and order. He says we shall rule by law. And that's what's happening. I mean, the police uniform is being respected. The police are being respected like the way we respect our national anthem and our national flag. We ought to salute our President to give that strong political will to make sure that there is law and order in Zambia. It will take time. People got too used to the previous ways of living. It will take time, but slowly, hopefully, it will get better.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Leader of the opposition in Parliament, Brian Mundubile, has doubted the report by the Office of the Auditor General that over 900 ghost workers were found in the government system, with a tune of over 7.7 million kwacha being lost in revenue through salaries.
At that time, what was found was that those people actually existed. There was an issue where, and I remember this very clearly as minister, you had a number of transfers that were made, and people had been transferred to different parts of the country, but their PEMIC, the identification number from which they were drawing their salaries, never moved. So you would go to a school in Kaputa with an establishment of 15 people, and you found 5 people. And yet the other 10 people working in Chilanga, Solwezi, and everywhere else were drawing their salaries based on Kaputa Secondary School. But what I want to say is, I'm giving a position as it was. We had a similar report some 2 years ago, and upon verification, it was discovered that there were some structural challenges. Some of those people actually existed. And I pray that even this time around, as the Auditor General goes round, they should be able to come up with a report and we see exactly what transpired. What is most pleasing about it was that the Auditor General must be very familiar with some of these challenges, because at the time they may have happened, he was either Accountant General himself or Assistant, or indeed the Auditor General. So the individuals who were in charge of the Ministry of Finance at the time are still there. And it will not be difficult to establish exactly how most of these things happened under their watch. You remember the Minister of Finance was Honorable Felix Mutati. He's still serving as a minister now, so he'll be of assistance.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Justice Minister dares the PF to proceed with contempt proceedings. The PF distances itself from financial irregularities in the auditor's report. Thank you for watching. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Good afternoon.